What if everything you've been told about aging is a complete lie, designed to keep you powerless and disconnected from your true potential? While billions of people around the world are desperately chasing youth through expensive creams, dangerous surgeries, and pharmaceutical cocktails, there's a hidden code that indigenous communities have been using for centuries to maintain incredible vitality well into their hundreds. The controversial research of neuroscientist Jacobo Grinberg uncovered something that the anti-aging industry absolutely doesn't want you to know. That youth isn't something you lose with time, it's something you can consciously choose to maintain and even restore at any age. Here's the paradox that'll shake everything you believe about getting older. The people who live the longest, healthiest lives aren't the ones obsessing over their age or fighting against time. They're the ones who understand that consciousness itself is the ultimate fountain of youth, and they've learned to work with specific codes that reprogram their biology from the inside out. While we're here stressing about wrinkles and joint pain, convinced that decline is inevitable, these remarkable communities are dancing, climbing mountains, and radiating the kind of energy that makes 20-year-olds look exhausted by comparison. The truth is, your body is constantly listening to the signals you send through your breath, your movement, your words, and especially your beliefs about what's possible for you. Every moment of every day, you're either programming vitality and renewal into your cells, or you're unconsciously installing the software of aging and limitation. But once you understand these 5 hidden codes that Grinberg discovered through his groundbreaking research into consciousness and human potential, you'll realize you've been carrying the power to transform your entire relationship with time, energy, and what it truly means to feel alive. Are you ready to discover what the fountain of youth actually looks like when you find it flowing inside your own awareness? You know what's absolutely mind-blowing about the people living in Okinawa, the Himalayas, and deep in the Amazon rainforest? They don't wake up on their 60th birthday expecting their bodies to start falling apart. While we're here in the Western world, constantly bombarded with messages about anti-aging creams and retirement homes, these folks are dancing, climbing mountains, and living with the same energy they had decades earlier. It's not because they've got some magical DNA or secret fountain of youth, it's because they never bought into our collective lie about aging. Their consciousness around vitality remains untouched by our modern programming that screams, "Decline is inevitable." Here's the thing that'll really shake your worldview. Time itself is completely neutral. Think about it for a second. Does a tree worry about getting older? Does a river stress about flowing for centuries? Of course not. Time just flows like water down a stream, carrying whatever meaning we decide to throw into it. We've collectively agreed that hitting certain numbers means our power starts fading, our energy drops, and transformation becomes impossible. But what if that's just a story we've been telling ourselves? What if every moment offers the same potential for renewal, regardless of how many trips we've made around the sun? The transformation starts the moment you realize you've been living inside someone else's belief system about what your body can and can't do. These indigenous communities never separated youth from wisdom, never created artificial barriers between vitality and experience. They understand something profound that we've forgotten, that consciousness shapes biology more than biology shapes consciousness. When you stop expecting your body to betray you, when you stop feeding it the story of inevitable decline, something remarkable happens. Your cells start listening to a different frequency, one that whispers possibilities instead of limitations, and that's where the real power begins to emerge. Most people think breathing is just this automatic thing their body does, like a heartbeat or digestion, but that's where they're missing one of the most powerful tools for transformation sitting right under their nose. Every single breath you take is actually an act of incredible power. You're literally pulling life force energy from the universe and infusing it directly into your bloodstream. The ancient practitioners understood this connection between breath and vitality so deeply that they built entire systems around it. When you breathe consciously, you're not just moving oxygen around, you're commanding your nervous system, telling your cells to wake up, and essentially hitting the reset button on your entire energy field. Here's a simple 4-step technique that'll completely shift your consciousness around breathing and unlock levels of renewal you didn't know were possible. First, inhale slowly through your nose for 4 counts, feeling that fresh energy flooding every corner of your lungs. Second, hold that breath for 4 counts, letting the power settle into your system like golden light spreading through your body. Third, exhale through your mouth for 6 counts, releasing not just carbon dioxide but all the stagnant energy and mental clutter you've been carrying around. Finally, pause for 2 counts in that empty space, that moment of pure silence where transformation actually happens. Think of conscious breathing like rebooting your computer when it starts running slow and glitchy. Your body accumulates so much energetic debris throughout the day: stress, negative thoughts, environmental toxins, electromagnetic interference from all our devices. But just like a fresh restart can make your laptop run like new again, this breathing pattern literally cleans house at a cellular level. The oxygen doesn't just feed your muscles and organs, it carries consciousness, intention, and life force directly to places in your body that have been starving for real vitality. Every mindful breath becomes a small act of youth restoration, and when you start doing this consistently, people will begin asking what secret fountain you've been drinking from. Here's something that might sound crazy at first, but stick with me. Silence isn't just the absence of noise, it's actually one of the most powerful organizing forces in the universe. When you drop into real silence, something magical happens in your brain that most people never experience because they're constantly drowning in mental chatter, notifications, and background noise. Your neurons literally start reorganizing themselves, creating new pathways and clearing out the junk that's been clogging up your mental circuits for years. This isn't some mystical woo-woo concept. Neuroscientists have actually measured what happens when the mind gets truly quiet, and the results are absolutely stunning for anyone serious about maintaining their vitality and consciousness. Imagine your mind like a lake that's constantly being stirred up by wind, boats, and people throwing rocks into it. When the water's all choppy and muddy, you can't see anything clearly, not the fish swimming below, not your own reflection, not the treasures lying on the bottom. But when everything goes completely still, when the surface becomes like a perfect mirror, suddenly you can see everything with crystal clarity. That's exactly what happens when you give your consciousness the gift of real silence. All the mental noise that's been fragmenting your energy and scattering your power starts to settle, and you begin to access levels of awareness and renewal that seemed impossible when your mind was constantly churning. The transformation doesn't require hours of meditation or some complicated spiritual practice. Just 5 minutes of genuine silence each day can completely rewire your relationship with stress, aging, and energy. Find a quiet spot, turn off every device, and simply sit with yourself without trying to think about anything or solve any problems. Let your breath find its natural rhythm, let your thoughts drift by like clouds, and just be present with the profound intelligence that emerges when you're not constantly managing and controlling everything. This daily appointment with silence becomes like a reset button for your entire nervous system, and over time, you'll notice that the peace and clarity you find in those moments starts bleeding into the rest of your life, bringing with it a quality of movement and presence that feels remarkably youthful. Most people approach exercise like they're punishing their body for some crime it committed, grinding through repetitions and counting calories like they're serving time in some fitness prison. But what if I told you there's a completely different way to move that doesn't feel like work at all, a way that actually makes your body younger with every single motion? The secret lies in transforming movement from mechanical exercise into conscious dance, where every step, every stretch, every gesture becomes a celebration of the life force flowing through you. When you move with this kind of awareness and intention, your body starts responding like it's being loved back to life rather than beaten into submission. Picture a body that sits still for hours, day after day, year after year. The energy literally crystallizes, like water freezing into ice, trapping vitality in rigid patterns that we mistake for aging. But when you introduce conscious movement, something remarkable happens. You're essentially melting time itself, dissolving those crystallized patterns, and allowing fresh energy to flow into places that have been dormant for years. It's not about how hard you push or how much you sweat, it's about the quality of consciousness you bring to each movement. Think of it like conducting an orchestra where every muscle, every joint, every cell gets to participate in this beautiful symphony of renewal. Try this simple approach that'll completely shift your relationship with movement and unlock new levels of vitality you didn't know were possible. Take a 10-minute meditative walk where you're not trying to get anywhere or burn calories. Just focus on feeling your feet connect with the earth, your arms swinging naturally, your breath syncing with your steps. Or spend 5 minutes doing slow, mindful stretches where you're actually listening to what your body wants to do rather than forcing it into predetermined positions. Maybe put on some music and just let your body move however it wants, like you're dancing with invisible energy currents flowing all around you. This kind of ritualized movement becomes a form of physical prayer, and your body responds by releasing stored tension, improving circulation, and generating the kind of natural power that makes people wonder what fountain of youth you've discovered. Here's something that'll completely blow your mind about the relationship between what you say and how your body responds. Every single word that comes out of your mouth is literally programming your biology at a cellular level. Most people walk around all day long issuing commands to their bodies without even realizing it, saying things like, "I'm so tired, I'm getting old, my back is killing me," and then wondering why they feel worse and worse over time. But what if I told you that your words aren't just describing your reality, they're actually creating it? Your cells are constantly listening to the stories you tell about yourself, and they're incredibly obedient servants that will manifest whatever you keep telling them is true about your energy, vitality, and capacity for transformation. The ancient traditions understood this connection between language and consciousness so deeply that they developed specific phrases designed to unlock the body's natural renewal mechanisms. When you say something like, "I breathe, I find silence, and I rejuvenate," you're not just making a nice affirmation, you're literally issuing direct commands to your nervous system, your endocrine system, and every cell in your body. It's like having access to the source code of your own biology, and being able to rewrite the program in real time. These aren't just positive thoughts, they're precise instructions that bypass your conscious mind and speak directly to the intelligence that's constantly rebuilding you from the inside out. Think of your words like software updates for your human operating system. Every time you speak, you're either upgrading your capabilities or installing bugs that slow everything down. Instead of unconsciously programming limitation and decline, you can deliberately choose language that activates your body's incredible capacity for renewal and power. Try spending just one day paying attention to how you talk about your energy, your health, and your potential, and you'll be shocked at how much negative programming you've been running without realizing it. Then start experimenting with intentional phrases that feel true and powerful to you. Maybe "my body knows how to heal and renew itself," or "I am filled with limitless vitality and consciousness." Watch what happens when you start treating your words like the powerful tools they actually are, because the transformation that follows will make you realize you've been carrying the keys to your own fountain of youth in your mouth this whole time. So here's the real question that's going to determine whether you keep living inside the matrix of artificial aging or step into the incredible power that's been waiting for you this whole time. What are you actually going to do with this knowledge? You now understand the 5 hidden codes that can completely transform your relationship with vitality, energy, and conscious renewal. But understanding and applying are 2 totally different things. Most people will watch this, feel inspired for about 5 minutes, then go right back to their old patterns of unconscious breathing, mental chatter, and self-limiting language. But you're not most people, are you? You're someone who recognizes that true transformation happens when you stop being a passive observer of your own life and start becoming the conscious programmer of your own biology. Here's what I want you to do right now, before this moment of clarity fades and you get distracted by the 1,000 other things competing for your attention. Pick just one of these codes. Maybe it's the conscious breathing technique, maybe it's those 5 minutes of daily silence, or maybe it's starting to pay attention to the words you use to describe your body and energy. Don't try to do everything at once, just choose the one that resonated most deeply with you and commit to practicing it every single day for the next week. Are you willing to invest just a few minutes daily to discover what's possible when you stop accepting limitation as inevitable? Can you imagine how different you'll feel 6 months from now if you actually implement these practices instead of just collecting information? The indigenous communities that inspired Jacobo Grinberg's research didn't just stumble upon these secrets by accident. They understood something profound about the relationship between consciousness, intention, and the body's incredible capacity for renewal. They knew that youth isn't about turning back the clock, it's about stepping outside of time altogether and accessing the timeless vitality that's always been your birthright. If you're ready to join a community of people who refuse to accept aging as decline, who understand that every breath is an opportunity for transformation, then hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because this is just the beginning of what becomes possible when you start living from these hidden codes, and I've got so much more to share with you about unlocking the extraordinary potential that's been sleeping inside your own awareness this whole time.